All right, so you are all very welcome in here to yet another lesson at Whelan Drums. So before I dive in and discuss this topic today, what I want to do is draw your attention to this microphone here, and that's because I've never used this microphone during a lesson before. And if I want to start doing things as live as I possibly can, and maybe doing 100% live online lessons down the road, plus maybe doing clinics and stuff like that, which is something I'd absolutely love to do in the future, this is just, I think, a good way of transitioning into that slowly. Okay, so to summarize this, I'm still going to be doing the lessons that I did previously, because I structure those and organize them in a way that I feel like they really maximize your practice potential, and so far the feedback has been absolutely off the chain for that, so I really do appreciate that, everyone. So I'll continue to do that, plus the quick lessons as well, because I know you're all enjoying those. But in regards to these, I think it's just a cool way of hanging out and discussing different topics. Plus, it means I can play and talk, all right, at the same time, which is something I couldn't do with the other mic because it's way too sensitive to do that. So yeah, just a really cool way of hanging out. So let me know what you think in the comment section below about this style of lesson, and let's dig into this. So what I want to do is talk about this concept of being able to make sure we can keep a left foot pulse going with our hi-hats, with our left foot, of course, while playing a fill over the top. And look, this is something we all do. You know, we come up with a really cool fill and we're like, yeah, freaking awesome. I'm not touching that. I'm going to move on next, right? Without pausing and taking some time to make sure that we can hold both a quarter note pulse and eighth note pulse down with our left foot over the top of that. And what that does is it gives the listener something to hang on to, okay? And it also makes the fill flow a lot better too. And it means that when you do go to play the fill without the left foot, you're even more comfortable and you're even more confident. And that's never a bad thing. So what I normally do is when I come up with a new fill, I get it down between my hands and right foot first. I work it up through the tempos and I make sure I'm super comfortable with that, and then I bring it right back down. I be very specific, and I add in I practice it with both my left foot holding a quarter note pulse and a eighth note pulse. So we're going to play 2 bars of each, okay, and there's going to be 3 different fills. So for the first one, we're going to take the pattern of right, left kick, so with the accent being on the first right, so right, left kick. The second one is we're going to double up on the accent, so we have right, left kick, right, left kick. And the third one is 3 accents with the right hand, so right, left kick, right, left kick, and so forth. Now and then we're going to be holding our quarter note pulse over the top of that, and that is, of course, where the independence comes in, and that is what makes everything flow. Okay, now when the first exercise, so the right, left kick, right, left kick, is going to be in 4/4. The second one, right, left kick, or right, left kick, right, left kick, is going to be in 3/4 because of the nature of that pattern. And the third one, the right, left kick, is going to switch back into 4/4. Okay, now I've set this up in a really cool way where I can put on the metronome during these kind of lessons too, which means I can keep the notation on screen because I know everyone is really enjoying that aspect of what I do. So I've made sure I'm able to do that as well. Okay, so you'll also have the PDF in the description too, so you can go ahead and snag that if necessary. So this is how it sounds at a faster tempo. All right, that's just to give you an idea of where we're going with this. So what I'm going to do is pop on the metronome, and we're going to do this super slow together at 60 beats per minute. So remember, what you're going to be hearing is a quarter note pulse metronome which has no accents in it. Okay, and it's really important that when you go to practice this at home yourself and you start working up through the tempos, that you take the accent out of your metronome, because like I said, the second fill is going to be in 3/4, so you're going to make sure that you change your metronome so it's just a quarter note pulse all the way through, so you don't get confused or lost during that. Okay, so let's do this really slow together at 60 beats per minute. Let's do it first without the left foot, okay, and then we'll put in that after. All right, so here we go. All right, cool. So obviously you can loop that. You can pause the lesson and bring it back and loop it over and over again till you're fully comfortable with that. Okay. Then we need to put the left foot quarter note pulse over the top of that. Now, you're probably not going to find that too difficult with the first and third fill or exercise, you could say, but with the second one, you're definitely going to probably need to work with that for a while, just because of, like I said, the nature of that pattern. It feels a bit weird when you do it at first, but I'm going to do it really slow for you again at 60 beats per minute. And of course, I'll keep the notation this is live, that's what happens, notation on screen as well at all times for you throughout this process, so you can see and hear exactly what's going on. Okay, so here we go. Okay. All right, cool. So that's the entire exercise. And that's really where the core of this is, okay? Once you get comfortable with that, and take your time with it, please be patient and it will begin to flow. And then what you can do is start working your way up through those tempos. Now, as you do that, obviously the more comfortable you're going to become, and then once that happens, all you have to do then is start moving your right hand around the toms, and you're going to be able to come up with some really nice melodic motifs and some interesting sounding fills. Okay, so the rest of this lesson is basically just going to be an example of where you can take this, but the core of what we're doing here is really in what we've just done. Take your time with it, work it at the 60, bring it down slower if you have to, and just keep working at it, and then slowly increase the tempo, maybe 5 beats per minute at a time, and you'll end up then being able to do something like this. So you can obviously hear the possibilities there, and like I said, you'll be able to come up with some really interesting patterns. Then what you can do is completely ignore in which way you actually play the bars and alternate between the single and the double and the triple at whatever pace you want or rate you want. Okay, and then you can further this here because you already have you're going to have the independence factor down at this point, so you're going to be able to come up with some really interesting things, and that would sound like this. So you can see that the possibilities are endless with something like that, and you can just have a lot of fun with it. And like I said, it should become just really organic and just flow really nicely at that point. Okay. To bring it back to what I said earlier in the lesson about being able to do it with your left foot, holding down that pulse. When you don't do that, it means like I said, you're even more comfortable then just playing it more in a groove context. And then you can go between that and the fills as well, and you can come up with an endless amount of ideas there. Okay, so that's how this would sound. So you get the general idea. And like I said, the core is in that exercise we did earlier, and this stuff should just begin to flow out of you at a really nice pace. So I really hope you enjoyed this lesson and took something positive from it. Please let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Remember, if you're working on any of my content, you can join the community page. I'll drop the link in the description below as well. And look, we're all just helping each other, motivating each other, and learning from each other, and that's what is important about this. So take care, everyone, and see you all again on another lesson here at Whelan Drums.